Oh, we had to dust that thing off, didn't we? Is it overreaction? It's a preseason game. You don't have a quarterback. You're seeing people for the first time. You got a revamped offensive line. I wasn't disappointed either, Jeff, with the pre-snap play of the Browns. Like I thought that it was going to be worse. There was one big penalty. There was a tripping call.
It was on Titus Howard.
Yeah, that hurt a little. But for the most part,
they recovered from it and scored.
Yeah, and so I wasn't that to me I thought would be a problem. That I think will be a problem at some point. And I just think it's natural. You can't ask five guys to go out there and play like they've been playing together for 20 years. They just haven't, or 10 years, or 5 years, or 3 years, or one. And I kind of think that's where they're at. At the end of the day, they ended up with penalties. 5 for 42.
Only one in the second half.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, that to me, that was a positive because I expected things to look much uglier from the penalty standpoint. Now, I don't know if the referees were just kind of letting some stuff go because it was a preseason game and they know the coaches really, at the end of the day, really, I gotta quit saying at the end of the day. The coaches are trying to evaluate and they're trying, no one's really, you'd have to do something super egregious, I think, in some situations to maybe get a flag. You might get that flag during the regular season. I think in preseason, I think the referees are a little more lenient in some ways. It's just I don't know if it depends or not. But that to me, Jeff, that was kind of a win at the end because I said I knew that before the game I wanted to look and go, okay, what are they going to look like pre-snap? Because this has been a major problem during camp, and I don't think it was. I wasn't affected by it, so that means it's a win.
I don't want to downplay anything that anybody might have seen, but keep in mind, Monken's never been a head coach in the NFL.
I think we keep forgetting that.
I don't mean it from maybe that standpoint. I mean it from this standpoint. He's going to be so vanilla with what they have in the preseason. It's going to be silly. Why give Jacksonville something to study that they might see in the opener?
Yeah, I can't imagine they're going to come out with 3 straight runs.
I don't mind that. You know why? It'd been almost 2 years since Deshaun Watson had been on a football field. So you just get him out there and let him snap the ball a little bit. Honestly, nothing. I firmly believe this. I can't imagine anything in the preseason in these preseason games is going to be the deciding factor in who starts at quarterback. And Monken made a comment yesterday in his press conference that I found interesting, where he talked about that it's only fair that Shedeur get a chance this week. And I thought, well, first of all, what's fair about pro sports? And then second of all, I thought, why would it be fair that he gets a chance? Just the way it kind of came off, and maybe we can hear that. The way it came off to me was just that it seemed like he's picked Deshaun in my head. And, well, it's only fair that I give Shedeur a chance. So that's just interpretation on my part. I could quite possibly be wrong, but it was weird to me, just the way it kind of sounded.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you happen to catch? We'll play that when we get a chance. Did you happen to catch the end of the pregame show? The very last Andrew. So at the end of the pregame show,
did not.
There's a thing. It's the final word from the head coach, and obviously it's been every head coach that we've had. So Todd finally had his first chance, to kind of have the last word before the game. And Jeff, I don't ever remember hearing a coach get this emotional, especially during a preseason game. The bite was this. Andrew said, "Hey, you're a guy from Chicago, and now you've got a chance to be the head coach. And, what does that mean to you? And especially here in Chicago where you're from." And, Jeff, this is, you and I, we listen to sound bites our whole life. This is one of the best sound bites I've ever heard, where Todd said, we were coming into Chicago and we were getting ready to land, and the plane banked, as it always does in Chicago, right? There's very few smooth landings in Chicago, especially. And so he said the plane banked, and then I looked out the window and there was Bob Monken Field, named after his dad, at Lake Park High School, and he goes, and then he like, there's no way he wasn't crying. He was so choked up before the game, and to me, I really like. I wasn't sure when they hired Todd, and you bring up this thing about saying what's fair for Deshaun to give him a chance, and then to hear him say that, and I know a lot of you guys are like, who cares what he can do? Blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, there are so many times that we listen and people it's just verbal diarrhea, guys. Like, I got to tell you, Todd Monken.
That's an interesting visual.
A lot of times, that's what we hear, right, in sound bites, in press conferences. I know Dan will agree with me on that, right? Right? I mean, we hear that a lot. Dude,
Andy, we've been really impressed with how our guys have been able to go out there and execute what is necessary of our coaches and our players.
And that's in Atlanta now, right?
And that was Kevigan.
I got to tell you, when Todd said that at the end, right before the game on Saturday, I was like, wow. I'm like, this guy's real.
Wow.
You guys laugh at me with
he's real.
No, don't belittle this.
Kevin was not real.
Don't belittle this. Like, what I'm saying when it comes to coaches and like the makeup of Browns fans and the fact that Browns fans continue to go to the stadium despite the fact that we haven't seen winning, despite the fact that, these teams have been horrible. And like, what Browns fans truly want. And they want to win, and they want to be able to go to that stadium and say, we're here for a playoff game, and we've got a chance to make the playoffs. And we've got all of this great history where we're from that has just been laid out, and it's dead. We want it to come back to life. And I don't know, there was just something about the way Todd said that at the end of the pregame show that kind of just caught my ear and made me understand maybe what Todd's all about as a person and as a man, because I think we want to know them. I think we've always wanted to know that. You grow up in Cleveland, you want to know those guys. You want to feel like you have a personal connection. And, man, if you go back and listen to the end of that pregame show on Saturday, you would have that personal connection. And I know sometimes you get on me because I look at things a little bit different, especially when it comes to having a connection, actually caring about our community, wanting to be a part of our community. And at the end of the day, it's always like, well, it's a business. It's not always a business. And Monken's a guy that probably thought he was never going to get a chance to be a head coach in the NFL. He finally got it here in Cleveland. And it was just something about that moment when he was talking about flying over that field where his dad, where the field is named for his dad. And it's just like, it's why we love the passion and the emotion of sports. All right, now I want to go back to what you were saying. So just tee that back up because we've got that bite.
Todd, speaking yesterday, said something about Shedeur in the quarterback fight that I thought was interesting, open to interpretation maybe.
I did feel going into last game that it was relatively close, in terms of both having an opportunity at the starting position. So it would be unfair to not go into the next game and allow Shedeur that opportunity, albeit a different team, certainly at home. There's no guarantee that, the same players will be playing this game, but it's the closest you have. And we owe it to both players who have really handled it well and have competed at a high level.
We owe it to them. Really?
Yeah, no, I heard it. It's in the beginning.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the beginning of the bite where it kind of makes it sound like
it wouldn't be fair if, and I just thought, really? Again, I'm convinced that being an offensive-minded coach, he knew 3 months ago who he wanted to start a quarterback. He just needs to maybe see it on the field a little bit. Make sure that guy doesn't disappoint him down the stretch. I just think the only problem I have with it is, man, you're kicking this thing so far down the road. We saw the offense not look good, all the way around. The only time the offense actually looked good was when Deshaun led a couple of scoring drives. And I'm not even giving Deshaun credit for that. I'm giving it to the whole Browns offense. When the starting offensive line was out there, they put up 3 points. Next bunch of guys, they put up a touchdown drive. Okay. There's nothing fair about pro sports. And the fact that he even said it wouldn't be fair, I thought, wow, okay. Didn't it sound almost like he was the underdog in this?
Shedeur is.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
that's the way it came off to me.
But truthfully, shouldn't he be?
Be what, the underdog?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Based on experience in the league.
You would certainly think so.
Let me throw this one at you. Just based on this conversation that we're having right now, do you think the job came with Deshaun as the starting quarterback for Todd?
You mean Todd had to, hey, we want you to start this guy?
Yeah.
No. You think return on investment a lot more than I do. And you could be absolutely right. I think more than anything, it's like if he can uncover anything of what he had in Houston, he might be the better guy right now. And if I'm Todd Monken, I'm going to play the guy that gives me the best chance to win, because if you're an experienced coach who is finally getting your NFL chance, you're going to bank on ownership. You're going to bank on the general manager saying, "Oh, it's okay. We're planning for the future, and we want to see things, and it's more about development." You going to bank on that? I'm not banking on that. If I'm Todd, I'm thinking, I got to go win some damn games.
I think, though, that if you were in Monken's spot and they said to you, hey, the job comes with Deshaun as a starter in the beginning of the season, at least, and you've got finally the opportunity.
You think that was said?
No, I actually don't think that's anything. I don't. I hope it wasn't said. How's that sound?
Well, I don't think it was.
I hope it was. That's not said.
I hope not to.
But you'd be a fool not to think, okay, that could be a possibility. Knowing, again, and I know you don't want to talk about return on investment, but I mean, plenty of first-round picks.
There might be some validity to that. I just think, I think Todd has to start the guy that he thinks gives him the best chance to win some football games, because we all know, coaching is not the most stable profession. You can look at the guys that the Haslam's fired after 1 year. Heck, is Chud and Freddie? Who else? I'd have to go back and even look, make sure there aren't any more.
That were here for like 5 minutes? Well, we had yeah. Oh, we're forgetting our favorite guest.
Greg?
Greg Williams.
Well, Greg was interim, but had a winning record.
It's true.
Let's not keep him around.
All right, I know we get that's true. It made too much sense.
Wait a minute, he coached us to more wins than losses. Let's get somebody else.
But I do see some of that in Todd. Like, I see that.
Yeah.
There's
absolutely.
a similarity there.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. I like it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
216-474-0092. 216-474-0092.